Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of The Birdman, and today we're going to be birding at the Beaverhill Bird Observatory. But first, we have a couple preliminary stops, so let's head there first.
Well, very warm welcome to this government house park. Let's see if we can find any other birds while we do stairs for my mom's birthday.
And the first bird of the day presented itself almost immediately, this adorable juvenile red-eyed vireo. Really cool, and the best looks I've ever gotten of this bird, I think. Just look at him hopping his way around in there. So cute. Further down a riverside path, we also picked up some mallards, who were just chilling on the shore. They may be a common species, but for big days like this, it's always good to get them down. Along the path, we also noticed these big boxes on poles, which are actually bat boxes. We soon then gained our third species, the ring-billed gull, another common one. Now in the woods, we caught some glimpses of black-capped chickadees, and we even got looks at rose-breasted grosbeaks, which is a really nice surprise. There was a whole flock of 4 of them. We also gathered what I believe to be the first lifer of the day, the Philadelphia vireo. Unfortunately, we only got fleeting glimpses, but I think they were enough to identify it. At the actual side of the stairs, we gathered species 7 through 10, being the house sparrow, the cedar waxwing, the American crow, and this itty-bitty little downy woodpecker. Oh, and don't forget bird number 11, this distance glimpse of a blue jay. Back in the woods after the activities though, we gathered better looks of cedar waxwings, as well as a new bird for the day, the song sparrow, which gave great looks on this perch. I just love how this individual is displaying their crest. It was really expressive actually. I enjoyed it. And then, finally, we had our 13th and final species for this stop, the black-billed magpie. But this experience was quite notable, as just look at that iridescence. It's beautiful. I've never quite gotten a shot with this much color showing on a magpie. I'm really happy this guy stopped by. Definitely a highlight.
Well guys, that was a pretty good morning haul. I hope to tack on some more species on at the BBO though. I'm really excited.
Before any of that though, we took a 45-minute drive to Tilly's, a local pizzeria in Tofield, had some lunch before we headed back out to see the bird observatory. Even before that though, we gathered our 14th species at Tofield, being the rock dove. Eventually though, the time had come, we rolled in, and we had arrived. After 2 years, I was finally back, guys.
It's been a long time, but we've made it. We are back. We've got some very nice habitat around here, but as expected since it's the nesting season, it's quite quiet. There's chirps here and there though, so we'll keep our eyes peeled.
Unfortunately, nothing quite presented itself before we hit the viewpoint, a nice lookout area over the entire marshy lake. Here we were still luckily able to add on some species, including this incredibly long-distance bald eagle, this flock of what I do believe to be northern shovelers, and this very brief glimpse of what I believe to be a pair of gadwalls. Farther along the trail, we also got very short glimpses, but glimpses nonetheless, of least flycatchers. Really cool species to add on. And for our 19th species of the day, we tacked on the black tern. These are probably my favorite tern species in all of Canada. And while I gawk at this mushroom, why don't I tell you a little bit about this establishment we're about to be visiting, the Beaverhill Bird Observatory. The Beaverhill Bird Observatory is a 410-hectare territory and the second oldest migration monitoring observatory in all of Canada, established in the year of 1984. The site is an internationally recognized important bird area, a designated Ramsar site, and a national nature viewpoint as designated by Parks Canada. During fieldwork seasons, both staff and volunteers work on research and monitoring the roughly 145 locally breeding bird species, just a portion of the 270 total species that have been reported there. If you want to learn more about this gem of a place, check out their website at beaverhillbirds.com for more information, or if you want to get involved yourself, as they offer a wide range of programs and such for up-and-coming birders as well as for nature lovers in general, who just want to get up and close and personal with the Canadian species. Along the path, there were even more least flycatchers, so why not talk about them a little bit? These are obviously the smallest flycatcher species in Canada, being a whopping 12 to 14 centimeters in length and weighing a mere 10 grams. Absolutely tiny. Within the Beaverhill area, these birds are some of the most common, being found literally everywhere, and the 1 square kilometer that the Beaverhill Bird Observatory usually operates in contains approximately 400 nests, which can equate to thousands of individuals. The reason for this is the area's absolute surplus of winged insects, which just so happens to be this bird's specialty. Upon reaching the actual lodge, we had another surprise waiting for us. Keith, the red-tailed hawk. The staff at the observatory even let Keith out of his cage for some time so we could take pictures. Thanks whoever was there, because it really made our day. Anyways though, Keith is an ambassador bird for the Beaverhill Bird Observatory and has been for quite some time. An ambassador bird is a species representative to help educate the public on them. Quite the noble cause for quite the noble looking bird. Keith finds himself in this position as he was struck by a car somewhere in Saskatchewan, rendering him unfit for release back into the wild due to a scratch on his eye, visible by the white blemish left there. Since then, he has made a full recovery and is now well into his career as an avian educator. His species, though, is, as I said, the red-tailed hawk. These birds are some of the most common and widespread raptors in all of North America and are a common sight on roadsides. They are skilled predators, though, and will easily take down a variety of prey items, including voles, rats, rabbits, ground squirrels, ground-dwelling bird species, reptiles, and snakes. After spending a good time with Keith, we began heading back to our final destination though. But not before finding this, and carnage warning. There was a dead downy or hairy woodpecker on the ground. I do not know what happened here, but rest in peace. We continued onwards though, towards a place called the Weir. Weir? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I was hoping to get some good water birds here. Unfortunately, the Weir didn't have too much to offer, but we did grab our 20th and 21st species, first of which being this clay-colored sparrow in a bush, the other then being a flyby California gull. About time we saw one. And yes, I'll also be counting that killdeer screech in the background as our 22nd species. Even despite lacking many bird species though, it was still a wonderful experience to walk all the way out here, and the looks were phenomenal, like as in the views, just look at that. But I suppose the Weir had one more trick up its sleeve as it gave us one cool bird just as we left. That's right guys, we got a flyby white-faced ibis. It might not have been a lifer, but it still is one heckin' cool find. White-faced ibises are relatively large wading birds with a glossy maroon plumage accented with greens and bronze, and easily recognized with its long curved beak, a staple of the ibis family, Thresciornithidae. The birds are primarily a western breeder, but can be found westerly and centrally farther south during migration, and across Mexico during the wintertime. Where I am from though, their populations are generally very local, so the BBO is a pretty reliable spot to find them, but you might not find them even a few tens of kilometers away, for example. What do these strange birds eat with that bill though? Well, often they'll chow down on earthworms, crustaceans, spiders, snails, leeches, and insects, a whole variety of items, all of which can be found in their habitat of both freshwater and brackish marshes, wetlands, and flooded agricultural fields. And finally, there's this bird's call, a very nasal sound that is best described if heard directly, so take a listen. Ah yes, beautiful. Anyways, it was time we decided to head back, and so we did. Saw more cool mushrooms on the way though, and even more importantly, we saw another bird, the white-throated sparrow, which was just hanging out in this bush. After that though, we went long stretches without seeing any birds at all, but luckily our luck turned around when we located a very cool species, and that was the bird scuttling around in these bushes, the yellow warbler. Really nice to tack that one on, and a very stunning bird. On top of this, we also got some more great looks of least flycatchers. Look at this little guy stretching his wing. Eventually though, we had finally made it back to the viewpoint, and we actually got some species here. Firstly, we acquired this trio of American coots, which were soon followed up by this northern shoveler, a female, which took off for me, a really great shot. And then I also got this flyby of a lesser scaup. Really cool to get that species too, and that brings our total to 27. And soon that number would be made 28, as we got an American goldfinch. Seems like these little guys always show up at the very last moment with us. But now it was actually time to leave the observatory, so we headed out. But not before stopping one more time on the side of the road to get a lifer. That's right baby, lifer number 8 of 2025 was the Northern Harrier. These birds are known for flying low over fields with their dihedral or V-shaped wings, and are so agile and skilled that they even named a whole fighter jet after them. We enjoyed the summer greenery and sounds for a little bit though before we began heading out again. To home. Psych, we stopped at a pond because there were so many birds here. This was the absolute jackpot. Let's run down some of the species. Firstly, we picked up the common grackle, very beautiful bird, a little noisy at times, but glad we tacked that on our list. Number 30, we got some flybys of Brewer's blackbirds. We got even better looks at a black tern, which flew right by and disappeared. I don't know where he went. Then a flock flew in, containing semi-palmated sandpipers, but also a few lifers, including long-billed dowitchers, least sandpipers, and pectoral sandpipers. It's really good to get some of these calidris species, which I've been lacking for so long. We also saw some familiar faces, like these marbled godwits, a species we located last time we went to the BBO. They were definitely one of the biggest waders out on the pond. A close second would have to go to this guy though, the greater yellowlegs. Easily mistaken for the lesser yellowlegs, but I could tell this one because it had a longer bill. And finally, we had all the ducks and everything. And out here we saw some mallards on this log, as well as some more shovelers and some species that were just way too far to identify. And as we left, I also collected a couple of lesser yellowlegs. A great way to wrap up. In all, visiting the BBO was one of my best birding experiences in a while, and I highly recommend that you go and check them out yourself. They do so much great work there, so just special shout out to everyone that has made that establishment possible, and working to educate everyone on birds and nature. Anyways, that marks the end of this episode of The Birdman, which we ended with a whopping 38 species across all 3 locations. More than a successful run in my books. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe, check out my channel for more birding content, and I'll see you next time on Hank the Birdman.